What's up, peeps? Welcome to this week's episode, man, of The Science of Stuff, hashtag SOS. So today, we're doing a social media thing, right? But, like you think social media is just me and you do on social media, But we're talking to an actual expert who actually went and studied, has got her own business, and has done social media for a brand like 5FM, man.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we know this is not little time, man. This is big time. That's how we roll. So it's going to be nice to kind of get a bit of insight.
Yeah, man. Today we're getting deeper into social media, giving you a little perspective on professional social media, domestic social media for kids, adults. I know that a lot of go-go's buy smartphones now, and you need to familiarize yourself with this terrain. So
Yeah,
man.
Keep your gogo off the phone unless she knows how to use the phone. We see them. But it's going to be pretty cool. I mean, I know me and we're not big social media users, but we are active. You can catch us. I mean, the DJ page, DJ Mlu, that's where I'm at.
At SK95 Sounds on Facebook, DJ_SK95.
You see? We're using it.
Yeah, man, and we're going to find out more about a whole lot of scams. Like a lot of people get scammed on social media. There's a lot of what do you call it? Catfishing.
Yeah.
Yes, there's people pretending to be some nice Brazilian lady while it's some guy in Nigeria. So there's just a whole lot of stuff to learn from social media. There's AI. There's a whole lot of stuff.
And I mean, for you, you've got kids as well, so it's quite a thing, and like. How do you even manage it with the lighties?
I have to yell for most of the time because you give them TV, you open YouTube Kids, and they're watching certain things. But some programs you see that they're very dangerous for kids because they'll be talking about suicide and other things that a 7-year-old should not be watching.
You would want to be the one talking.
So that's where, as a parent, you need to always check, even though it's creepy that you have to. Because I have the YouTube is linked to my phone. So every little thing they watch, I can see it on my phone wherever I'm checking.
Okay, that's pretty smart.
You need to be that helicopter parent. Make sure you know what's happening with your kids, what they're watching, and man. So we're not going to get too much into it. I'm sure our expert today is going to give us more information.
All right, cool. Let's check it out with Nicole Da Silva. Hey, what's up, peeps? As I promised, we're going to be hanging out with Nicole Da Silva and get some inside info about social media. Now, Nicole is literally my family. Like, we've been close for at least 15 years. She knows my mother. My mother knows me, so that's where it's at. But, she's one of the most amazing people that I've met in Joburg. At a personal level, but also one of the most professional people that I've met in Joburg. She's had a fantastic radio career. She's been a media personality for years. She's been a DJ. And now she's venturing into another world, which is pretty cool, which is social media. If you're from Four Ways High, it's your girl. If you're from UJ, it's your girl. Wits, it's your girl. All right, she's done it all. And of course, it would be silly for me not to mention that she was on 5FM, Radio 2000, 919 FM. So, quite a broad career, and has also worked with young people at Wits as well as a program manager, helping out, new talent. So that's what I know. We're going to hear from her other stuff that, she's done. Hey, girl.
Hey, friend. Jeez, it's weird to hear about yourself. But there has been a lot that I've done. I feel very old now, but also it's kind of cool to know, like...
It's like, I did all that.
Yeah, I did that. Also 15 years. Yes, us.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've been holding it together. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, you've had quite a journey, but I'd love to know, how it started. Like for you, where the passion, because you're not just doing this stuff. You gotta it's got a deeper
the social
aspect
stuff
to it. Not just the career. We'll get to the social media stuff, but like just how it all started with you when you got into radio and all that stuff. How did that journey?
So when I was like, there's that pressure of like when you're finishing high school, what you going to do, where you going to go, whatever. And everyone had an older brother or sister, and they knew they were BCom this, BA. I didn't know what the B whatever stood for. I knew nothing. No one in my family had gone to university, so it really was like oblivion. So I knew I wanted to take a gap year. That's the only thing I'd really planned for. My friend and I were going to go work in America at the summer camps. And then I was like, cool, put it on the back burner, the pressure of choosing a thing. But I'd always in back of my mind, also I was deputy head girl, so people were expecting big things from me, hey? They're expecting big things. I always kind of thought radio.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how, but I used to read a lot of magazines and listen to a lot of radio. And I would see in articles or hear that, like Jeremy Mansfield said, RMR, Rhodes Music Radio. That's where he started. Nicole Fox mentioned RMR before. There was an article that I read where Jeannie D mentioned that she'd done radio at RAU, Rand Afrikaans University, before it became UJ. So I kind of picked up these things along the way, and I was like, that's where these people started. They did radio at these universities. And I was like, cool, put it on the back burner. Came back from overseas, whatever, broke as hell. But now everyone's already done their first year, and the pressure was on. Because I was deputy head and I did pretty well in high school, I had a really good M score. I don't know what they call it now, but it was an M score back then. And I could get a bursary if I went to UJ and I did a science degree. My mom wouldn't have to pay for anything.
Yeah.
Which was...
Yeah, as you do when you're the first graduate.
Yeah,
you know?
and varsity's expensive, man. Sure. So I was like, cool. Also, I've spent all this money going overseas trying to stay alive. I got paid there, but anyway. So if I did... I knew I kind of was into people, so I did psychology. But if I did a BSc psychology, I could get the full ride, basically, for the first year anyway. So biochemistry and psychology was the only BSc combination. And I was like, well, I nailed biology. I did really well in that. Yeah. What could biochemistry? It can't be too hard. We'll do that. So I did a BSc in biochemistry and psychology for 3 years at UJ. And from day one, I was like, where's this radio station? Where's the radio station? I must find the radio station. I have to find the radio station. Yeah. And I had to get into this radio station consistently. And they were like, oh, we have auditions like later in the year. Just keep looking at the notice board. Oh, my God. I harassed these people nonstop. And then I saw a list, first person to put my name on, obviously because I'm a nerd and I'm eager. First person to get the audition. And I nailed it. I know I nailed it. Yeah, I did a back announce that you had to go in and record on a tape with the program manager and the DJ manager or whatever. And you had to do a fake link. The link was, tell us about a song or something that you have coming up. So I was like, I listen to the radio. I can do that. I definitely mentioned Prime Circle.
Yes.
Definitely mentioned Prime Circle.
Oh, there was a time.
Yeah.
There was a time.
And and I got in. And that's essentially where it started, man. Like varsity radio for 3 years. Sometimes I wouldn't even have lectures and I was going in for shows. I made sure, like if I didn't have, excuse me, if I didn't have a show, I probably wasn't going to go into varsity. But if I had a show, I'd be guaranteed to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like It was the thing that got me up. And I was really, really lucky because soon after the station had just rebranded to UJFM because it was RAU when I started. They rebranded to UJFM and then they had these licenses and then they started petitioning for their permanent license because we only had like monthly licenses for RAG and for whatever and whatever. So people could only actually hear us in the Matrix. Matrix was in Wits, the student center at UJ. That's one old speaker and then streaming. That was it. Couldn't hear us further than 5Ks. So on varsity, it was crazy. From there, more radio. I got into Vol community radio in the Vol. It was 60 Ks away. And I would drive there and I'd do a show once a week.
That's 60 Ks to drive to a community radio station.
Yes.
You're not getting paid.
Yeah.
But you
I was getting paid.
Were you getting paid?
I was getting 80 Rand an hour.
All right.
I was getting 80 Rand an hour.
That's probably enough to pay for the petrol.
Or it was 60. Or it was 60. Maybe it was 60 Rand an hour. I think the next job was 80 Rand an hour. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too shabby for a student, I guess.
Yeah. And I learned so much there because unfortunately at UJ, we didn't have people that could teach us because no one there really knew how to be a proper presenter. There was no one who's teaching us. So we would just
kind
go,
of winging it.
100%. They were just like, don't swear, don't talk about religion. And yeah, there you go. That was it. We could choose our own music. It was a free-for-all. Then before they would let me on air at the community radio station, I had to go in there and do fake shows for myself. And they would record it, and then I'd go in again, and he'd have a listen. The program manager, Gilbert, shout out Gilbert, would have a listen, and he'd be like, okay. I went and I did fake shows 3 times, I think. Then they put me on Graveyard on a Sunday. Again, drove through all that time, whatever, an hour drive there, an hour drive back. Did a fake show late at night. Then he would listen back to the tape, and then I was finally ready to go into daytime. Okay. So I had to do all these things, and I learned all of these things, when to back announce, how to whatever, one thought, one link, all of that stuff from them. Not from, I had the confidence to talk, and I talk about music and blah, 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 on campus radio, but I learned all the stuff from community radio in the Vaal.
That's the value of, by the way, connecting, because I know everyone wants to work for the big stations, but you learn your craft at community, and there you get value because people are still focused on the basics, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you undergo this journey, you've been on campus, you go to community, and then you end up at a Radio 2000 as the beginning now of your true professional career.
Yeah.
And you don't just enter there, you are like on breakfast.
So there was a small bit before that people didn't see.
Yeah.
And that was, so contracts at SABC starts 1st of April. Everyone thinks April Fools.
Sure, yeah.
So, but from January until that April, I was doing 4 till 6 in the morning. From the January, they started a new internship program. Tim's uncle was doing midnight till 4, and I was doing 4 till 6 until that contract thing, because they just kind of rebranded the station. It was more of a rock station. Tim was from Tux, which was notoriously a rock station, and UJ was actually also a rock station. And they were like, well, we're doing rock music, blah, blah, blah. This was the thing we're going to do. And then in that time, it kind of, it was still rock, yeah. The breakfast show host, I won't mention his name, found out that he wasn't getting renewed. And he stopped coming in. He just stopped. And the guy that was doing the show with him, the newsreader, because he'd seen me every day doing 4 till 6, and we'd talk, whatever, they were like, well, we don't have anyone. And we told this other guy that he's not going to be carrying on. So you're going to do it, as in the newsreader. You're going to be the host. Who's going to be your co-host? And he's like, what about that girl that does 4 till 6? That's how that happened.
Wow.
I was just there.
It was just yours, basically.
Basically. It was crazy. Yours. It was crazy. And I'd stay on, because I'd stay on for the show during that January till March or whatever. I'd stay and talk to the producer and like, how do you do this? And how do you do this? Because I was so interested in radio. And so they got to know me, and I think it just worked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool when it just feels like it was just meant for you, and probably no one else at that particular time would have been able to do it. It was just for you.
Hey man, there could have been a million people, but they weren't there in the right place.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you took another journey to a place that I know is your favorite, was like you just wanted to be there, and that is 5FM. It was one of those places, and I had the pleasure to be there as well, and it's a great place. Shout out to 5. I had a fantastic time there. But I mean, that now was another new level for you. It was kind of like another step where you kind of found yourself as a broadcaster. So how was the experience being there?
It was fantastic. I think the thing for me with 5, I think that.
What did I do?
Oh,
it's just keys. Don't worry. Okay.
I think the thing with me, or for me with 5, was that I always listened to the station. Even when I was working at Radio 2000, I would listen to 5FM. I knew the culture, I knew the music, I knew the presenters, and I was like, I am your listener. I am the target market, and you're the station that I listen to. I know I will be a good fit here. Whereas Radio 2000 was a much older audience, especially back then, because I was in my early 20s. I think I was 21, 22.
Yeah, it would have been very hard. Yeah,
right?
100%.
Even though the music was like, yeah, rock, whatever, it wasn't the people that I would normally hang out with and speak to, whereas 5 was. So the whole time that I was at Radio 2000, no offense to anyone there, but I was trying to get into 5. Every year I'd try the demo thing, whatever, because the brand just fitted better with me. And I think that's something important that people need to take into consideration. You shouldn't just send your demo to any radio station. It should be a station that you really know.
Sure.
You know the phone number, you know the SMS line, you know this whatever SMS line, the WhatsApp line. Listen to me. But it you should be part of the culture of the station, and it should be part of you, right? Some people are just looking for a job in radio, which is also fine, but it just fits so much better when it's a station that you really vibe with. And that was 5 for me. Like it was always the station that I wanted to work at, and I'm really grateful that I had that opportunity.
Yeah,
I was really bummed that you literally left as I joined.
Yeah,
and I was broken about that. I was broken.
We missed the chance to have
yeah.
but we did manage to catch up, by the way. Shout out to 919 FM, which was formerly Star FM. Because it gave us the chance to actually host a show together.
That was so cool.
Awesome.
If anyone wants to do that again with us, like we'd be great. Like we're good on air together. We really are.
So I mean, with 5, I mean you pretty much were able to broadcast any show being there. But I know at your peak there, you were doing Weekend Breakfast.
Yeah.
But you've done all the
I stood in for everyone, dude. I stood in for breakfast, lunch, dinner, late nights, dance shows, graveyards. Which is a good and a bad thing, because I want to say for future people who want to do radio, maybe don't make yourself that available.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself that available. But for me, I was just keen and eager to do all of it.
That's the thing, man.
Yeah.
But sadly, your eagerness will not always be interpreted as a positive.
Yeah.
People will just see you as a tool sometimes.
Yeah. And then you feel like a tool too.
So I guess see your value and what your focus is, and focus on that. All right. So we've covered a bit of the radio side of your career as a broadcaster. And then while you were at 5, you started doing the social media.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun. Yeah.
Now, your whole career leading up to that point, well, most of it, there was, what was back in the day? What was the first one?
Facebook.
No, before there was stuff.
MySpace.
There was MySpace.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wasn't even on MySpace,
No.
So during the time in the beginning of our careers on broadcasting, there was no real social media vibe going on.
There was blogging. There were a lot of bloggers.
True.
Bloggers were coming up.
Yeah.
And Twitter had just kind of started. I want to say 2008-ish for us.
Yeah.
2007, 2008. But people weren't really taking it seriously. Facebook was just a little bit before that. Instagram started December 2010.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like these things have been around forever.
Yeah,
there was always a time. So, I mean, I know you from a personal perspective that you've always been someone who was quite intuitive with social media. It was an immediate thing that you just grasped onto. But I am curious how it became so serious that you ended up doing it for like 5 FM. Like, what?
Yeah. So
how was that?
It's interesting because to me, every person who's in broadcasting should be on a platform, because we're natural storytellers. People listen to us in general, so you should be interesting to read about. But not everyone can do the visual thing. I get that with photos, but it literally started with Twitter. I jumped onto it and I found it was such a cool place to meet people. It was much smaller. Oh my gosh, Twitter was so small. It was like being in a hall with a bunch of cool people. And you would bump into people, and some people would hang out over there, some people hang out over there, and whatever. Now it's not a hall. Now it's like it's a country with buildings and basements and rooms you never want to go into. It's like crazy. It's infested. It's got rats in it. Some places are great and it's sunshine, and other places, oh my gosh, Twitter's crazy now. But when it started, there was everyone knew everyone on Twitter.
It's kind of like
you were like twilebs,
families, intimate space.
It really was, and you got. It was very easy to interact with individuals, and there was follow Fridays, so you would find out more people that you could follow. And I think by virtue of being at 5, to be honest with you, and because I was active on Twitter, I was a Twitter queen. They had Cosmos, Twitter kings, and Twitter queens. And I was a Twitter queen. The second round, I didn't make it for the first round, but the second year that they did it, I was a Twitter queen. People voted for you to be a Twitter queen. And then there was a photo shoot, whatever. So that was cool. And I was really active on it. I used it for my show a lot, because some people don't want to call, and WhatsApp wasn't a thing yet, and SMSing was lame. So Twitter you could check as a different like platform, and you could say on air, hey, tweet me what you think at that Nicole, whatever, and then people would tweet you, and it was another way for people to engage with you.
Right, yeah.
So also, I mean, great to get followers, but it was fantastic because you actually would get replies, and you would be like, oh, on the SMS line we've got this person that says this and this, but we know, and I respectfully, the people that were SMSing and phoning were not necessarily the people that you wanted to be engaging with, whereas the people on Twitter were. It was the platform where like your people were, kind of, respectfully again. So that was a cool channel for that. And with that, I started getting into Instagram as well. I love taking photos, always have. And that kind of started becoming a thing. And then you could post your Instagram pictures to Twitter. And that's how you could grow on Instagram. I've always been into photography since I was young. My mom was in the photo industry. So it was always a big thing for me. And I was like, well, this is another way to connect. And if you use the same name as you had on Twitter, then people can find you easily. Brilliant. Great. And so that was something that I thought was really interesting. How it happened with 5. There was a lady named Leanne Mole, who is affectionately known as Ass, on Gareth's show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's awesome. What
super cool.
Love you.
We love you, Leanne. So Leanne Mole was in charge of the 5FM website and also Twitter. And people would always be like, what's the song? Who's the person on the show? They would send queries to Twitter. And then there was also 5FM's Facebook. But the website was like a big thing. When Gareth left 5, Leanne left as well. And she needed to find someone else that would take over doing all of this stuff. And she thought, instead of having someone, or I don't know if it was her idea or management's idea, instead of hiring someone to do this exclusively, we need someone who understands the brand, who's on air, like Leanne was, who can also do this as like an extension. So that's not a new contract, it's just an extension of what they do and their hours and whatever. And instead of it just being one person, there would be 2. And she asked myself and Kim Schulze, who was also very active on Twitter, if we would be interested. We had a chat. We learned how to do everything on the website. She gave us all the passwords. She showed us how to do the stuff. And she's like, you already know. To be honest with you, before that even happened, she would wake up for the breakfast show. I was up early because I did the show before Gareth and the team. And people were already sending queries. She's like, can I give you the password for 5FM, for 5FM's Twitter? And if you see things that's happening, can you reply as 5FM? I was like, yeah, no problem. So because she'd already trusted me with that and I didn't abuse it, I think she was comfortable to be like, okay, you're actually going to be fine as like the next custodian of the 5FM brand online. So that's what happened. The problem is that it grew so big. Website became much smaller, much less important. Twitter was insane. Instagram grew. We had 500 people on 5FM's Instagram when I started. When I left after 3 years, there were 60,000.
After 3 years?
After 3 years. There were 60,000 because the platform grew and changed so much. Facebook became less important, but it was still pretty important. That's where I think the majority of fan bases grew from. And the website wasn't as important.
Interesting. Yeah.
I still think it's really important to have a website. You should have all of your stuff there, but people weren't going to browse websites anymore. They're surfing on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. That's where they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of for me brings up another, because I mean, I'm listening to you and you had a natural inclination to want to use social media.
I like sharing.
Yeah.
I like sharing. I like meeting people. You know me. Hi.
It was like, man, the social media thing for me was like, oh my word. It's like a whole new thing that I have to do just to make the thing I'm already doing
But
work.
You're such a cool guy and you are so friendly. I don't know why you have this thing about it.
I don't know either. I just think it's a...
technology.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just I'm a slow technological person. But I'll be honest, I do enjoy the platforms.
Yeah.
What I don't like is the pressure to use them. I feel like we are being forced to use it, but I really do enjoy it as a tool. But I've always wondered how someone who's more deeply into it perceives it than me, because I'm like a regular person. Even though I'm in the media space, I use it a lot. but I don't look at social media from a technical perspective or scientific perspective.
Marketing and
because there's all those aspects. So for you as someone, because by the way, she went to school to go study this social media thing. We are not just talking here, blah, blah, blah. To the papers. You cannot question her papers. So, you've done all of that. So how do you see social media compared to a normal person? What is the difference in terms of your perspective?
It's a very good question. It's a good question. So I think the normal person goes onto social media to see what their friends are doing, to see who's getting married, who's gotten divorced, who's having a great life, who's having a crap life, who's gone on holiday, catch up with family and friends. That's what the normal person is doing. And then they'll look at celebrities, what the cool people. So it's your friends and family, and then the people that you wish you were friends and family with.
Sure.
Okay? That you'll find, because they're names that are recognizable to you, so you know who to look for. And then that's kind of branched out to influencers or people with influence, people who aren't on big screens, who aren't making music, but they are influential in some way. You like their lifestyle, you like the way they think, the way they dress, what they have to do. And those are like your influencers or your online celebrities. And then you follow them. So it's now like you've got your inner circles, like the people that you know, and you're like, oh, okay, Auntie What is doing this, whatever. But did you see what Miss Ninina is up to and the holiday that she's gone to and whatever? So it's grown into this way of finding people to revere, to follow, to judge, whatever you want to call it, on these different platforms. To the point where you don't need magazines anymore. It's our new magazines. It's the new gossip columns in the newspapers. It's changed.
And it's constant, and it keeps.
It's not. I don't have to go read a magazine now to see what the celebrity is doing.
Sure.
I don't have to wait for this gossip TV show to show me what they were wearing at the Met Gala or at this and this award show. It's instantaneous now. It's instantaneous. They can be walking I'm just going to say Met Gala. They can be doing the Met Gala stairs, and I can be seeing it in a few seconds later here in South Africa, at the bottom of the African continent on my phone, from somebody who I value as a fashion expert or as somebody who follows celebrity culture. There's also obviously lots of other beautiful people to follow that have nothing to do with celebrity. People who are into science, people who are doctors, people who are on the cutting edge of exploring innovation, people who are showing us different ways to live. It's just about access to people and content and ideas. And finding them is the fun. And then they need to keep your attention. It's the economy of attention now. So with Instagram, with Facebook, with TikTok, I'm not even going to talk about Facebook, with TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, the super visual ones. Excuse me. It's now about algorithm and keeping attention.
Oof, yeah.
And the pressure to post all the time is because if you don't, you go to the bottom of the algorithm. Your people won't find you. Even when you do post, if you're off for like 2 months, when you do eventually post, your people might not find you. That's why people always say, remember to subscribe, press the notification bell so that when they do finally post, you will see it. Because to get seen is so difficult because everyone has a platform and everyone is getting out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say the algorithm thing I do find annoying sometimes because just because I clicked on one thing now, I have to see it 10 times in different versions.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see the one.
Yeah.
But also on the other hand, if you've got content that you like and you get more of it, it's pretty cool.
With that, I want to just add, it started off with just people. Businesses then jumped onto the platforms, and that's when everything changed. When businesses and brands jumped onto these platforms where it was friends and family, where there was audience, that's when everything changed, because now there was advertising. Now there's sponsored posts. Everything changed when that happened. Now it is monetized. Crazy. Before it was just a place where people would
just
like.
Yeah. So it's evolved now to such a point where, you went and studied a course.
Digital marketing.
What from what you already knew before studying,
Yeah.
what was it that you would have gained from going for a course? Because you already had quite a lot of
So there's
abilities with it.
no 100% with digital marketing and social media is not necessarily the same thing. Social media falls under digital marketing, but digital marketing is also banners that you see on websites. It's pop-ups. It's your presence on your website, and it's how people experience you outside of the store or outside of the physical brand. And it's newsletters, like those inbox newsletters. That's part of digital marketing. Your website. I don't know if I mentioned that. And it's so clever because you can also shop with a brand online. It's all digital, and that you have a presence in the atmosphere, right, of this brand. Then you can get specific emails based on what you've bought. So if you have a card and you've shopped at a store, they recognize you as a client, and now you've bought something online. Now they've put those two together. They know something about you. They know what ads to feed you. They know which newsletters to send you. You're not going to get stuff on hiking. You're not a hiking guy. They can target, which means you're more likely to buy. And that's what it's about. It's about making sure that they are feeding you stuff that you'll find valuable and providing you what you need and making sure that they're top of mind. That's what it's about.
Now, yeah, which is quite something because I've been trying to figure that out the whole time, the technical aspects.
It's so hectic. It is so hectic and so advanced. I understand it. I don't know how to do a lot of it. Now they're using AI as well, which is insane and really great to specifically make content for different audiences and different types, so that you don't need to have people making it to fit these different audiences. Because if they have a sale, you don't necessarily need to know about things that aren't relevant to you. But if you find something that you would buy, you're more likely to go into that store, and they have this much time to get your attention to do that. So that's what they're doing.
So you mentioned AI, and I'm thinking to myself, how does AI affect the work that you do? Does it add value, or is it something that's going to create an obstacle and make it obsolete because now it can just do stuff? Like, how does that impact? Because you've turned this into a business. By the way, what is the name of the business?
No, it's not okay. You can just get in touch with me and I can help you with your social media. You can find me online. That's Nicole.
Business.
No, there's no name of the business. I don't have a name of this. It's me. I do the things. Nicole with the things.
We need a name for her business.
I have a name somewhere in the back of my head. But yeah. The thing with AI is that people don't necessarily know how to use it, and people don't necessarily know what they need or what they want. You have to be so specific about the prompts that you put in. Also, like, people don't know how to use Google properly. You've got to be specific. So if you want, example, to create this fabric, how would you describe this? How would you describe this? Give me like 5 words to describe, 5 prompts.
I would say I want it in blue. I'd like it to be of African pattern with a horizontal zigzag going down.
Good.
And I'd like them to have, sleeve must be just, okay.
3/4 sleeve, double pocket, denim fabric, 1 button, small mandarin collar. There's so many specific things that you can add to it. Do you see what I mean? There's specifics. And now you want people you think like, oh, the movie industry is down the toilet because AI. Cool, go for it, bro. Like, go have at it. You think you can do social media? Go for it. You still need to know the basics. You still need to know the basics of it, and also to have the time to do it and to learn it. It can also go very wrong. So absolutely, it makes it more accessible if you have the time and the patience to learn about it. Cool. But what it does do is allow someone like me or somebody else who has an agency to be able to service more clients in a shorter amount of time. Because now, instead of sitting and making images or coming up with copy and spending hours and hours doing it, or doing reports, oh my gosh, you can do it with a click of a button. You just need to have it pre-programmed, or you need to have your coding done. Be like, okay, I need 5 images of women on the beach in bikinis and I plug in the bikinis that I want them to be wearing. One of my clients happens to do bikinis and swimwear and lingerie and underwear and bras and all of that. Have those products, put them on models at the beach, relaxing with drinks, whatever, and spit it out. Let's have a look at the images. Some of the people will have 7 fingers. Sometimes their head's a bit squiff. You've got to look and you've got to, okay, cool. Okay, can we have women that are more representative of Africa, women that are slightly more voluptuous? Don't want skinny models. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You've got to be very specific with, and some people just aren't able to do it. So yeah, cool. It might make it more accessible for other people, but I don't think we need to worry about it stealing our jobs. And I was going to say, remember when CDJs came out and laptops and you could press sync?
Oh yeah.
There's a few people that can get away with DJing and it sounds okay, but their song selection, nothing can choose the songs for you. Nothing can get a crowd going. No one, when the right time to hit that beat, the right time to bring in this song, no one can teach you those things. Yeah, you can maybe sound consistent. You won't have the horses galloping, but no one can take away what a DJ already knows. Song selection,
that human element.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. You know, one of the group of people, I mean, as we were talking before, you were at 5 and social media there was taking off more than websites. So it means that young people love using social media, especially teenagers or even younger. How do you navigate the accessibility to social media? Because a lot of parents might argue that it's detrimental emotionally. There's depression. There's all these things that are going on. Schools, I mean, it can be a good tool to promote the school, but then it's also getting used for bullying and all these other things. So how do you navigate that as someone who works with social media? What are some of the features or things that provide that safety for kids?
So I would start off by saying, the first and foremost, I think it's a parent's role. It's a parent's role. It's not social media's role to govern these things, because it's about parenting. It's like you wouldn't let your children run around anywhere without knowing where they are, who they're speaking to, who they're hanging out with. It's the same thing, except just in digital form. So personally, I wouldn't let a child who's under the age of 15, 16 have
16
have access to social media. I just wouldn't. They can have a phone. They need to have a phone these days. Things like WhatsApp. But here's the thing, is that even WhatsApp statuses, that's a form of social media. People are putting stuff on statuses as well. It's just like stories on Instagram. It's just like stories just like TikTok.
Sure.
And then things can be shared there as well. Honest to goodness, I think it's about having good communication with your child. And if it's, I'm going to sound like such a hectic person now. I don't even have kids yet. But Wi-Fi, it's coming.
One in the bun.
No, bun in the oven.
Oh, bun in the... Okay, I'm new to this. I don't have bun experience. Yeah, no, SK is bun experience. Me, I don't.
One in the bun. No. I really think that it's having internet access is such a privilege. And I'm sorry, but I can take that privilege away. And I will decide when you have access to that. So you don't need to have your phone at night. I need to get hold of you during the day. When you're at home, you don't need your phone. You can have it for 20 minutes, whatever. You decide. But honest to goodness, if I was a parent, I would absolutely not. You don't need to have access to these things. You don't need to have at all. When you're big and ugly, you can decide how you want to use your own internet that you pay for and what you're going to do with it. But if it's speaking to your friends, I don't know. Use the landline. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard.
Are there actual features on the things that offer security for?
It's for little kids.
Right.
For little kids, you can lock it. Kind of like with DSTV with like the kid content.
Yeah.
So there's like TikTok for kids.
They're specifically created.
It's like there's and YouTube as well. You can have like there's different functionality, but there are also predators who are looking for young children and they know how to find them online. So even if the kids are being very innocent, there are people that know how to find them. on different platforms. I haven't experienced that here in South Africa, but I've heard of it and I've seen how it happens. And there are grown men who are very interested in little girls or little boys for that matter. And with that, I'm just going to say parents who are very, very, very generous with exposing their children online, maybe just rethink that. Because when you have a look at moms who are sharing pictures and videos, especially on TikTok, videos of their daughters and how many shares there are of it. And when you have a look at who the followers are, it's creepy. It is creepy. So you just, as a parent, you need to have some sort of consciousness of this. And yes, your kid can have access to their friends, but there's a lot of malicious people out there who can access your children's minds through the internet and through the different platforms. So I think switching off the Wi-Fi, taking the phone at night, just giving them access when they need to have the phone to be able to contact you. But to be honest with you, I don't have the answers.
Sure.
I don't have the answers. It's changing and evolving every day.
You know, it also brings on another curious question for me, because I know this is something as well that's close to your heart.
Yeah.
The image of women in these platforms. I mean, listen, I enjoy seeing booty on my phone. I'm not going to pretend that I don't. But
And in real life.
algorithms, I mean, you click on one booty and 10 booties come up. And I'm like, there's booties everywhere, you know? But I mean, we do have problems, especially here in South Africa, in terms of the relations that we have between men and women. The image that women are either given or women put out of themselves, the way it's interpreted, what there's a word for it, objectification. That's the word I was looking for. So for you, as someone in this space, how do you deal with those kind of scenarios? Is there a particular way you want to portray things, or do you just allow it to flow? And how do you feel about women portrayal on social media?
I think how another woman wants to portray herself is up to her. It's got nothing to do with me. It's your body. It's your choice. You do whatever you want to do. I know from working in media how people think and what people think they have access to when you put it out there. And they don't. Just because you've seen me doesn't mean you are owed anything of me. I decided from a much earlier age, what I'm prepared to do and not do, and show and not show. Also, I'm not trying to be attractive. I've always all I've ever wanted was to be an entertainer, someone who is regarded for her foresight, for her information, someone who I think is intelligent, someone who is adds value to my life. And I don't want to add value to your life in that way. That's not how I wanted to position myself, because I also know that that's short-lived. That's very short-lived.
There's always the next nice booty.
100%, but also like I don't find it fulfilling for me, and it's not where how I wanted to position myself. As somebody who is educated and who has value in more than just her physical appearance, that's how I wanted to position myself. So I could have a long-standing career and not just be, hot for a second. And also just to men, I want women to think I'm cool. I want women to want to hang out with me. I want women to listen to what I say. And you can't be taken seriously, unfortunately, if all you're doing is objectifying yourself or just being a form of entertainment and content for the male gaze. You kind of can't win. Some women have, and very well, won both, and that's great. But I didn't. It's just not something I want to play into. And also, it can be very dangerous, because now guys think that because they've seen what your body looks like, that they are owed something from you. We've got a twisted thing here in South Africa. I don't know what it is. It's not like that in Brazil. It's not like that in other parts of the world. Women are walking around in G-strings. There in Europe, G-strings, beaches. You don't find men running after nothing. They're topless. No one cares. It's just that our culture is messed up here. It really is. Because you think when a woman is showing her body that she's after it. No. Maybe I just like my body. Maybe I just don't want to have clothes on me, and it's got nothing to do with you. If I want to lay on the beach in a G-string, it's not because I want attention. We don't have that culture here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's tough to have to censor yourself or think about how you're going to put yourself out there because of how other people are going to see you. It's kind of crap.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, you heard gents, but I also know there's gents putting their booties out as well. So, yeah, it's quite a thing. Yeah. I don't know how to feel about that as a dude, but
to each his own.
Yeah. That's it. So, I mean, what are the most technical things that you have picked up about social media as a tool? Things that you've used that are very effective? Some of the features that
give me examples. Give me examples of what you're looking for.
Like, for example, I see videos, like there's a lot of editing that happens. I've seen you post some videos where you edit a few things together.
Yeah.
Is that a feature that's on social media, or is that something that's a skill that's separate that you have to learn in order to do?
Okay. I see what you're asking. So with the different platforms, with TikTok and Instagram, they have editing tools within. So to help with transitions between different cuts. So there's a video of Mlu walking down the street, and then the next Mlu is in the car. To go from the one to the other, there can be like a zoom in, or it can be a swipe, or it can be roll down, or it can be like a glitch screen or something like that. They give you those options. There's also apps. CapCut is a very popular one and it's free, that a lot of people use. But generally, they are trying to keep you in the app and using the app's features more and more. So they're constantly updating. You always get an Instagram update, always get a face. It's little things like that. Even Reels on Facebook has the functionality for transitions and putting text on, filters. You've got filters now, so if you want to just have less pause, or you maybe want things to look a little bit brighter, or you want hearts to be falling down the background, there's filters that are built into all of these. It's just about playing around and being comfortable to play around with these. So shoot a couple of videos of yourself or friends or whatever, and then have a look at the different options and play around with it. Don't worry, you're not going to post anything. That's only like 3 steps down the line, but you can see what you can do. What I like to do is I'm very observant. I see what somebody else has done. I'm just like, I want to learn how to do that. And I'll Google it, or I'll search for it on the thing, or I'll have a look and see if it's a new feature that's available. And I'm an early adopter. I like to know how to do the things, but a lot of them, you'll find that the platforms have it built in. You just need to know which part to press and how to go back. And sometimes it's a sneaky little trick that someone needs to teach you. But yeah, majority of it is actually very easy. And I say easy, it's built in. It's not 7 different apps to get to have this video. Yeah.
And I mean, like for me, I've always wondered, there are people who randomly have huge following. Nobody knows who these people are, but they just post stuff. And is there a special strategy that they're using, or is it just a matter of they just so happen to have content that people like, and that's why people follow? How do they make it work? Because I'm always amazed. Sometimes someone has got 300,000 followers. I'm like, who's this person? And they're just a normal random guy. Yeah.
There's 2 things. One, people buy followers. So I'm just going to throw that out there. A lot of people buy followers. I came across one the other day. He actually asked if I could help him with his script writing for videos or something. Ooh. And I was just like, wow, this guy has a huge amount of followers. And the way you can tell if a person's bought their followers is you look at the views on their videos. Have a look at the views, have a look at the likes, have a look at the comments. If the likes, the comments, and the views are not matching up to the 300,000, there's something wrong there.
Sure.
They've bought the views. It's not on every platform, but you can. It's not that expensive either. You can buy them from Russia, you can buy them from China, whatever. People buy things. You can also check to see. There's also websites where you can check to see how many people how many fake followers you have. That was a big thing on Twitter a while ago. Because you would get bigger deals. You would get bigger deals if you had more followers. So people were like, oh, I'm just going to buy myself more followers. It was a huge thing. And you can tell. So anyway, there's that. So that's the one thing. The other thing is that sometimes things just take off. You can have one video. That gets shared and watched 10 million times because and you don't have to be you maybe now all of a sudden we caught an eagle coming here and catching my dog, and then the dog ate the eagle, and then whatever, we put it online, it goes viral.
Sure, yeah.
Nature in South Africa, whatever, 10 million follows, and then maybe of that 1 million people follow you. That's only 10% of the 10 million. Sometimes it's just a weird freak viral thing. Some people work at it consistently. Same with radio. You need to be informative, you need to be entertaining. It's the same with social media. Some people make it a thing. They are entertaining, they are funny, and it's jokes that are relevant. They're on it with social commentary. They're on it when it's political news. They're on it when it comes to memes, memification of things. Trump and Biden, Kamala Harris, the Olympics. Oh my gosh, the Olympics gave us content for days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's all different, and it's the people that are good at spotting the things that are trending at that time. They put it in a package that's shareable. So, as if you're sharing it, how many times have people shared stuff with you? That helps the views. If you make it entertaining, informative, shareable, oh my gosh, you've got the trifecta there. You add a catchy song, oh my word, it's the Holy Grail. That's what it's about.
Wow. And are there specific times? Because I've noticed sometimes you're going to post something, but then it comes on at a certain time. Like you've kind of tagged it to automatically go out at
Scheduled.
7, or the scheduling. That's the. Are there specific times that are better to post than others?
So I want to say it used to be a big thing. Nowadays, I think if the content is good and people are sharing it and viewing it, the algorithm will push it up anyway. I would advise against posting things randomly at night, like 1 in the morning, midnight, 11. Try and think when people are awake and active on their phones, your audience specifically. So if you're speaking to, let's say, gym people, early risers, they'll be up at like 4:35, 5:30. That's a good time to get them. If your target market doesn't have a specific routine, then I would say just as long as it's in the daytime. There are some people that will disagree with me, because it used to be very much, look at the spikes, look whatever. But the way the algorithm is pushing things these days, I want to say it really doesn't matter. As long as it's in daylight hours, I would say daylight hours. Or you can also just think about when do you go on your phone? When do most people go on their phone? First thing in the morning? Whenever that first thing in the morning. Some of you students, it's 9, 10, 12, 2 in the afternoon. I know. You gamer guys are also a different breed. And then you've got your gym risers, your parents, school run people. You've got your business people. They wind down. They watch their phone before they go to bed. 9:30, 10, 8:30. It's a good time to post. You'll get them then.
Okay.
So you've just got to think about who your target market is. And if you don't have a target market and you're just a normal person, post it when you feel it.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like we could just carry on chatting here, chilling in the garden, lovely vibe for another 2 hours. But we've got to land this ship. It's been awesome coming to just hang out and hear more about social media. I'm pretty sure there's more. Is there something that I've missed that I haven't asked that you think is important for people to know?
I would say if you are somebody who is, 2 things. If you are somebody who's wanting to get into social media marketing, or you want someone who wants to be an influencer, just learn as much as you can. Follow people that you can learn from, and also clean up your feed, clean up your profile, your platforms, all of them. If there's stuff that you don't want people to see that you're embarrassed about, delete it, get rid of it. Just clean up your online presence, especially if you want to be taken seriously, because brands will look at your stuff. Future clients will look at your stuff. Your future boyfriend and girlfriend might be looking at your stuff. Like, you've just got to clean up your platforms, because it's out there on the internet. It's like your laundry for everyone to see. If there are things that you don't want people to know, so if you wouldn't put it, this is the thing. If you wouldn't put it on a billboard, don't put it online. If you're embarrassed about it now, to something you posted 10 years ago, 5 years ago, what is that host guy who was part of the DA?
Oh, yeah.
We see you. Take it down, delete it, remove it. But also remember that you need to have an archive. You've got to start. There's something that you want to do online. You've just got to embrace the cringe and just start posting your stuff. If you're good at just managing it, offer your services for free to someone, build up a portfolio. If you're somebody who has nothing to do with social media, but you have a presence online and you're looking for a job, Make sure that your profiles are closed, only to friends and family. And also maybe just tidy things up a little bit. You might have an old YouTube channel that you don't do anything on anymore. Maybe you decided you were going to be an extreme skater and now you are a CA and it doesn't quite blend. You archive it, put it somewhere. Just remember that how things are now, it's not how it's going to be in 10 years' time. Access will be different. Things will change. Things are always changing. And you've just got to be aware of it. Yeah, maybe no one will see it now, but maybe one day your grandmother will be having a look at it, or your children that are infants now. Just think about those things.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful advice from a wonderful lady, the coolest girl I've ever met in Joburg. It's Nicole Da Silva. Of course, social media specialist. She's just finished her course. She's got her own business. So if you're looking for someone to promote your social media stuff, please get onto social media and connect with her. I want you to be rich.
Oh, thanks.
Because I've got a nephew.
A future nephew, yeah.
So you need to make money. All right.
Thanks, Fred.
But thanks. It's been awesome. Thank you very much, Nex.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next episode, man. We've got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking.
Okay, so let's have a chat about scamming, catfishing, fake relationships where they're trying to target you, and just general fraudsters on the internet. Unfortunately, because we've got a lot of people that are socializing and they see each other's pictures and faces online, they think that everyone is genuine. And unfortunately, it's not like that. Essentially, everyone is a target. So the first thing I would suggest is that you make sure that you are very, 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 very safe with your profiles. So make sure that nobody can see your pictures, your images, unless they are already a friend or family member of yours. Because if they're not going to scam you, they could be using your images to scam other people. When somebody sends you a message, a DM, and you are not sure who they are, make sure that you somehow validate. And you need to be 100,000% certain, especially when it comes to people who are trying to have a romantic relationship with you. This is worldwide, and particularly here in South Africa, older people are being targeted and younger people as well. It's romantic scamming, which is awful, especially when it comes to older people, because they don't have a lot of money to begin with. They're not working, they're retired, but they're looking for love and they're lonely. It's happened too many times. So here's the thing. If somebody is trying to be in a relationship with you and you've never met them in person, red flag. If you've never seen them on a video call, red flag. If they always have an excuse as to why they can't speak to you on the phone or video call, red flag. Block, remove, move on, because they are after your money one way or another. The general scams are that somebody is in desperate need. They need money now. They're millionaires. They're a millionaire. They have hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they just don't have access to it right now. But the container has arrived and it's at the port and they just need 10,000 Rand to release it, and then they'll give you 30,000 Rand and they're going to have millions. So don't worry about it. I've seen it and I've heard about it way too many times. If anyone that you are in a relationship with is asking you for that amount of money, red flag, especially if you've never seen them and if you've never met them face to face. Block straight away. You need to take care of your heart and you need to take care of your profile, and you need to be aware that there are lots of people, no matter what they've said to you and how lovely they might seem, that don't have your best interest at heart, and they are using you as a target.